going to get my workstation set back up, and then we're going to pick back up where we left off. Now, when I was on earlier, I was waiting for BJ's to show up with my order. They did not show up. And if I didn't know any better, I would think they were trying to sabotage this dinner. But it's late, and I got to get dinner in the oven. So I ran to the neighborhood store, grabbed a few things that I needed, and I'm just going to go ahead and get this dinner situated so that I can get it in the oven. So if you remember, we already had everything cooked and prepped and ready. We were just waiting for BJ's so that I had all the rest of the ingredients that I needed. And they did not show up, so we are improvising to get things done. I was waiting for my adobo, which is in my BJ's order. And I'm just going to have to accept that I won't have it. So I just added a pack of Sazon to the sauce. I'm not going to reheat the sauce. I'm just going to go ahead and start compiling my lasagna. Everything is still warm, so that's good. And let me grab a bottle of water. So the first layer is going to be sauce. Thank you, Lord, for today. Things did not go as I planned, and that's okay. Still getting everything done. So just enough sauce to coat the bottom because you don't want your noodles to stick. That's a good layer. And now let me make sure my hands are clean. Okay. I'm about to handle the noodles, the pasta with my hands, so I just wanted to make sure that they were clean. I'm just going to lay out my pasta. Overlap it just a little bit. Okay, just get a paper towel. Okay, so we have a layer of sauce, we have a layer of pasta, and then we're going to go in with a layer of our ricotta cheese mixture. a little bit. Just smear it out so it'll be like a thin layer. So we're not going to have like a thick layer of ricotta cheese. I thinned it out with eggs. So I put 2 eggs. I think it was a 15-ounce container of ricotta cheese. Now normally I would add like a Parmesan cheese mix blend to my ricotta cheese, but that's in my BJ's order that has not arrived. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this mozzarella right on top of this layer of ricotta. And then we're going to do our sauce. And we still have our oven preheating at 350. So now we're going to go in with the mozzarella cheese. In the previous video, we shredded some cheese. So I'm going to add that. This is our medium cheddar. And then I have some Colby Jack on the bottom. So I'm going to try to mix this up here. And now we're going to apply another layer of pasta. And it's good that I did not overboil them initially, which you don't want to do. But since they've been sitting longer than I expected them to be sitting, they've gotten a little softer, but still not too soft. So again, pasta, avocado mixture. You'll have to watch the part 1 video. I'll link it to this video once I have it uploaded. If you want to catch all the steps we did before we got here. I'm going to add a little bit of the mozzarella again. Since I don't have my Parmesan cheese. We're going to go back in with our sauce. I'm being mindful of how I'm scooping the sauce and spreading it. I'm paying attention to how much is left in the pot because we do want to make sure that we have enough to cover all of the layers. We should be able to do one more layer of pasta. And I do have some extra jars of sauce if I needed to spread this sauce a little more. I'm going to try not to do that. I'm going to go on with our cheese. Again, this is the medium cheddar and Colby Jack. And that was the mozzarella cheese that I put down first. Now we're going to go in with another layer of pasta. And just be gentle with your noodles so that you don't rip them apart. And one last time with our ricotta mixture. And you can always leave the ricotta cheese thick. You don't have to add the egg to thin it out. That's just what I decided to do. I need to add some more sauce to this. Let me rinse my hands. Hold on just a moment. Should have another jar. Just gonna add a little bit. Put this in the fridge. a little bit of salt to that. Just making sure I incorporate that sauce that I just added into what I already had in there. And it's going to cook down, and then all the flavors will blend together. So it'll be fine. So if you kind of scoop it like this, then we can mash the scoops together. I'm going to go ahead and just flatten it out. Just enough sauce. Now, if we had extra, I would have just frozen it, put it in a sandwich bag and froze it for another meal. But I was trying to make sure we had exactly what we needed. I didn't really want to make too much. So this is good. Now we're going to go ahead and add our cheese layer. And I had this other dish I wanted to try. Actually, I'll just use all of them. If my BJ's order comes, then I'll experiment with the ingredients from my BJ's order. Go ahead and add this. And then we are going to cover this in aluminum foil and let it bake. And then we'll remove the foil and brown the top. Now I'm just going to bake until the ricotta cheese is cooked. That's how I go based off of. So the pasta should be, nice and brown around the edges. The cheese should be melted, but I need it to cook all the way through the middle. And then I need that ricotta cheese to kind of curdle a little bit. And that's how I know that my lasagna is done. I do not want the ricotta cheese to still be silky and smooth. And I don't even know if curdling is the right word for what happens with the ricotta cheese, but when the ricotta cheese is done, then I know my lasagna is ready. Aluminum foil is feeling kind of tasty. Making sure it's wide enough to cover the pan. I'm going to do 2 layers because this is really thin. I thought I got the heavy duty foil, but I did not. I would say this should bake for no less than 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So maybe around that 45-minute mark is when I'll check it. see what it's doing. Could take a little longer than an hour, we'll see. And I'm going to keep this pan underneath to support the bottom of the aluminum pan. Okay. And I'm going to hang on to this pasta for a moment. So I might do something else with it, as well as the ricotta cheese mix. And everything else I'm going to clean up from my workstation. I'm going to need this. Get rid of my dishes. So if I'm gonna wait a trillion years for this lasagna to cook, I might as well start on the chicken cutlets. And you guys can join me for the ride. Clean all of our surfaces as we go, so that you don't have a big mess later on. I'm going to clean out this pan because I'm going to use it. I will be back. Hold on, you guys, I just gotta check my phone. Okay. We're just gonna keep this train rolling. so I'm gonna get this pan heated up. I will end up adding oil to it, so I'm just gonna, actually I'll dry it with a paper towel. Okay. This dish here, and get us a plate. And a large plate. I'm going to begin breading the cutlets. This is where I'm going to put them. And this is where we're going to put our breading. And let me grab our cutlets. Just let them sit for a moment. They're cold. Add this packet of Sazon to them. And a little bit of salt. Let me go grab a rubber glove. You're nice, man. You don't have to say. Be mindful of what you say. No feelers, alright. Huh? Okay, so I added that packet of Sazon. I added a little bit more salt, and in the part 1 video I lightly seasoned the chicken, and this is thin sliced chicken cutlets, chicken breasts. I kind of want to tenderize these, but it's too late for me to be banging on the counters. Making sure the seasoning is distributed all across the chicken. Okay. And I'm going to remove this glove. And I'll be right back. So here's our station, our breading station. So we have our chicken cutlets here. We're gonna put an egg in this bowl, and then we're gonna have our flour and our breadcrumbs over here. Okay? Because my BJ's order still has not arrived, I have 1 egg, but we're going to work with this 1 egg. Add just a little bit of water to this mixture, well, to the egg. And then I went across the way to a local store since BJ's didn't show up with my flour. And I just grabbed a small pack of flour. BJ's is still coming, y'all. They just come in extremely late. So I'm just going to put a little bit of flour on this side here. So I could use 2 separate containers, but I usually just keep everything in one so that I don't have a big mess to clean up. So we're all for working smarter, not harder, and minimizing the amount of mess we have. So that was a little bit of salt. Add a little pepper. Gonna add a little bit of onion powder and garlic powder, just like we did to the chicken. Remember, we just lightly season, because then I will do a lemon butter sauce, and you don't want the seasonings to overpower the lemon butter. So I just use my hands, mix this together. Okay, now we're gonna grab our breadcrumbs. I have a container that's already open, and I bought 2 new containers today, so I'm gonna use the remaining of this one that's already open. Now I have a 3 cheese mix that I sometimes add, but that is also in my BJ's order. And since BJ's is not here, and I'm still just trying to get this food cooked, I'm not going to do the cheese, but it's like a Parmesan, Asiago, and I can't remember what else is in there. Blend, Parmesan, Asiago, I don't remember. And I'm going to add a little bit of flour to this side where the breadcrumbs. Yeah, not a lot, just a little bit. Okay. And again, we clean as we go, so I'm going to move these things out of the way. Clean up our space. I'm going to throw on this glove, but before I do, I'm going to put my oil in this pan so that it can warm up. Now you're not going to deep fry, you just kind of want enough to cover a little more than the bottom. Okay, so our oil's going to heat. I'm going to throw one of these gloves on, and we're going to get rolling. So this egg that we had here that I added a little bit of water to, that's just to stretch the egg. Normally, I just have enough eggs. But of course, my eggs are with my BJ's order. I'm just going to go ahead and mix this together. So the eggs is basically just to, for the breadcrumbs to have something to adhere to. So it's okay to add a little bit of water to stretch your eggs. All right, so we have our flour here. We have our breadcrumbs. We have our chicken cutlets, and we have our egg, and then we have this plate here, where as we bread them, we're gonna put them on this plate. So you take a chicken cutlet, put it in the flour first. There's a lot of steps to this, but I promise you, it's so delicious. You're gonna put it in your egg mixture, both sides. Let that excess egg come off, and then we're gonna put it in the breadcrumbs. Just want to pat it down so that the breadcrumbs will stick. Flip it over and do the same thing. Now, if you see any spots that are kind of bare, just sprinkle some breadcrumbs on and press them in. And then we just take it out. Give it a good shake so that any loose breadcrumbs will fall off. Those are the ones that are just going to fall to the bottom of the pan anyway, and they will burn because they'll just be sitting there throughout the cooking process. I just added some breadcrumbs to that little spot right there. And we're just going to continue doing this. Now these chicken cutlets are kind of big, so I could have used 2 separate containers. Normally I have smaller pieces and this container works just fine. Now, prayerfully, while I'm doing this, my BJ's order will show up, and then I'll be able to add an egg and continue. If not, I'll just work with what I have and cook the rest when I have the rest of my ingredients. So again, we're doing chicken, flour, egg, and then breadcrumbs. Baby, you don't have to stay quiet. It's fine. You can still live like normal. You do exist. Listen, I live in a house full of people. I'm not expecting you guys to just stay silent. Huh? Oh, okay. I love you. I love you. I appreciate you being thoughtful. Chicken, flour, egg mixture, breadcrumbs. We're just gonna keep doing this. I can feel the heat from my oil next to me, so it's pretty sure it's almost ready for me to start frying. I might only be able to do one more cutlet with the eggs that we have left. And then I could just put the rest of the chicken back in the refrigerator. back in. This might be a stretch, but we're gonna try. We only have a little bit of egg left. See what we can do here. We keep one hand clean so that if you need to grab other ingredients, you have a free hand to do so. That's it. And we are done for now with this portion. I'm gonna get a lid for this chicken. I'm gonna pop it back in the fridge. I've done this. Put this in the sink. Whenever I'm dealing with raw meat, I don't mix those dishes with any other dirty dishes. I make sure my sink is empty. And I wash those dishes separately. So I'm about to go rinse those just to make sure the kids don't come and put something in the sink with them. We have our first chicken cutlet cooking. I'm going to come and clean off this countertop as well, because we clean as we go. And we're going to keep cooking. These chicken cutlets are thin cuts, and when I'm frying, I pay attention to not only the sight of what I'm cooking, but also the sound. And so the sound of the frying is starting to slow down, so I could tell that side was done. So I flipped it. We're gonna cook this side. It doesn't take long because it's thin cut chicken. Okay, let me grab something to clean my counter with. Alright, and again, we're dealing with raw meat, so we want to make sure we disinfect the counter. I have some dish liquid, hot water, and a little bit of bleach on this rag. Make sure we wipe everything down. This chicken is almost done, and then we can put a meat in there. There's a little space, like a little dip right here. Just making sure that fits properly. This piece, I was going to put 2 in, but this piece is a little on the thicker side, so I'm going to make sure I cook it by itself so that it can cook all the way through. Let me just check and see if I have any messages from BJ's, because we are still waiting on our BJ's order. I can't believe it. I did call, and they said they were short-staffed. My order was supposed to have arrived, I don't know, 3 hours ago? 4 hours ago? So, it should still be on the way tonight, but it'll be late. Very late. So we have our lasagna in the oven, and now we are cooking our chicken cutlets. I can actually start chopping up our garlic for our lemon butter sauce. Probably gonna have to mix in some dry minced garlic. I don't know if these little pieces will do it. The garlic is pretty strong, so this might actually be enough. As I'm moving around the kitchen cleaning up my mess, I'm also checking on my BJ's order. It's definitely a huge inconvenience, but you gotta know how to improvise, do what you gotta do. Thank you all for watching. Hello and happy Saturday. Is it still Saturday? I don't want this to get too dark, overcooked. So I want to make sure I cook this section all the way through. So this is a thicker part. But I don't want to burn the crust. I'll take it out in another minute. Hi. Thank you for hopping on. Oh, Junior Porter. I remember you from earlier. You came back. Hello. So this is actually part 2 of making dinner tonight. I'm not sure if you were here for part 1. Hey, I keep checking my BJ's order while I'm cooking, and finally it's out for delivery. Even though I'm pretty much done with everything. Alright, so I just took some fresh squeezed lemon. I'm going to add this to our garlic. And once my butter arrives, I'll be able to complete this. So I'll just sit that there and clean up my workstation. Alright, so this piece of chicken should be done now. And again, it was a little bit thicker in this middle section, so I just let it cook a little longer. When I tested it to see if it was cooked, a lot of juices came out. And so now that part of the crust is soft. So I'm just making sure we let it get a little bit crispy before we take it out. Again, I don't want to overcook the chicken. But you obviously do not want to undercook it either. Oil down a little bit. Let's see what we're working with here. Let me see if I can do 2 at a time. That one's really big. This one I think I can get away with. Just put it on this side. There we go. And then that one, well, that's the last one, so that one will cook on its own. Making sure we keep the counter clean, keeping the oven clean. I can turn this back up now since I have 2 pieces of chicken in here. So back to medium heat. I'll be back. All right, time for a water break. I see I have somebody watching. Hello, how are you? Happy Saturday. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions about what you see going on here. I forgot to set a timer for our lasagna, so I'm not sure how long it's been in there at this point. We're still trucking along. So normally right now, I'd just make sure that the kitchen is completely clean. I'd be washing my dishes. But I don't want to just leave you guys over here. I don't want to ignore you. But now will be a good time to wash your dishes so that when your food is ready, you don't have anything to clean. You can just enjoy your food. And let me just check my phone really quick to see if BJ is texting. No. Okay. Okay, it's gonna take a second for these two to cook since I put two in the pan at the same time. So I'm just gonna chill. And since I don't see anybody talking, I will assume you are chilling too. this up just a little bit more. Okay, so I just stepped away to wash some of the dishes. I'm coming back to check for comments. Hello, thank you for tuning in. I don't know who you are because you haven't told me. Making chicken cutlets here. We have lasagna in the oven. And we are waiting on a BJ's order that should have been here 4 hours ago. And yeah, I'm gonna go back over to the sink. I'll be back. Heart it up. Let me know you're alive out there. Drop a comment. Alright, dishes are done. It's one less thing to worry about. Let's put these again. I'll probably cook them once more after this. See you guys still there. Thank you for watching. What? Hold on just a moment, you guys. Alright, you guys, I'm going to have to end the live here, and I'll come back to you guys with the finished product. I've got to find my BJ's order.